One, and we are live. And Alex cannot make it tonight because he's got Pilates. And for those who are interested in where Alex is tonight, but no, I am joined by my right hand man, Richard Carmen from City Sit Down. We got Joey Pineapples in the house, and for some reason, he is still having pineapple on his pizza. We
Oh my
got
God.
Roma fan here, Mass from Montreal, and Johnny Delicole from Montreal as well, Napolitan, and we got a stacked house tonight. But I'm gonna start it off by saying that Thanksgiving is the most overrated holiday. And I'm just gonna put this out again. I think we talked about this last time. Turkey, overrated. It is the food that you have and then you just fall asleep right after you eat it. Best side dish I will say is stuffing. Nothing beats stuffing. I'm more modern. I would like to have barbecue, steak, lamb, you name it, and basically you go with the barbecue and that's it. You have a nice Thanksgiving. What about you guys, Richard? Richard, how you doing tonight? Let me know. Well, I know you love your Thanksgiving, your football, but the debate here is that the real Thanksgiving comes in November.
Yeah, I say fuck stuffing. That's the worst side dish there. No, Thanksgiving is not the greatest of holidays, right? But at least here in the States, we get a 4-day weekend. So with that, it's probably better than Canadian Thanksgiving. So
you guys also get like crazy violence on like Black Friday,
Crazy violence
Yeah,
daily.
we do. It's a balance here.
Yeah, Thanksgiving turkey, celebrating with the family, and then just looks like the purge when it's time to get some savings on some retail stuff,
That's right.
Yeah, Black Friday.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you on that, though, Jerry. Turkey is completely overrated. Was never a big fan of it.
Have you had fried turkey?
I
'Cause
wasn't.
that's where it's at. That's the only good turkey I've ever had.
Well, you fry anything
like
and
the
it's going to
turkey
taste
leg.
good.
Of course.
I mean, turkey leg at Disney's pretty damn good.
It's a smoked turkey
Yeah, the
leg, though,
Renaissance
Johnny.
fair, right?
It's not the same preparation like you would have like for a regular turkey on Thanksgiving, though.
But let me ask you
No,
this question.
fair.
Do we all have
Okay.
like an Italo Thanksgiving? You know what I mean? Like you got to have like soup, pasta, like something thrown in there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Got-
there's
you
always
have to.
like a pasta course, and like the antipasto is pretty much Italian usually.
Yep.
so.
The
Might
only
have the
other
holiday
thing
sauce
is
on,
the
yeah.
bird. That's the only thing.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's like traditional, I guess. Anyone in the same kind of vein that cranberry is just completely underrated and should be around all year because I really like cranberry sauce.
Fucking hate cranberry sauce. Ugh, God.
No, I love cranberry
I'm
sauce.
not crazy about it.
Ah.
There's
I-
a
4 out of
difference
5,
between
it's
like
a
the
no.
store bought garbage and like
And-
made at home.
Yeah,
That I
exactly.
will say. Nobody, don't ever buy cranberry sauce.
Like out of the can where it just holds its shape once you plop it
Disgusting.
out. Awful.
Gross.
No, but like I agree with Joe. Like I just forgot now I was gonna say, but yes. During Christmas we do like there's course meals. You have your soup, you have your pasta, you have your it's like going to a wedding basically. But like for Thanksgiving, there is no pasta. It's straight meat. All the side dishes are on the table. I think it's just Thanksgiving specifically is so different compared to any other holiday. Like even Easter, we do pasta, then we do barbecue, then we do salad. It's just so weird when it comes to like we go all out.
Barbecue.
Yeah, barbecue. When you are in a family raised by a butcher, what do you think? The barbecue's not coming? Barbecue comes out 24/7. Like in the winter, it comes out, man. Like, oh man. But
You got the barbecue under the temple in the backyard, Jerry, just to protect it from the snow.
Yeah, we do actually.
There
We
you
do.
go.
So we do have like I forget, like a gazebo in the back, and
Yeah,
it
okay.
basically blocks off any snow, rain when you have to do barbecue. But I guess the last resort is always you go into the garage if you wanna get that barbecue going in the winter. But how about you guys?
Well, for me, like Thanksgiving, it's basically what Joe said before. It's like the Italo-Canadian version of doing it. Like you'll have like a pasta dish, or like I said before, like my nana makes lasagna for Thanksgiving. because you have to have something before the turkey, and you're basically crawling on the floor once you're done. But in terms of all the holidays, I think it is one of the lower ranked meals in terms of what you have as a meal for Thanksgiving. I think Easter is probably like the best holiday meal you'll ever have. Like, I think it's better than Christmas because I don't know about you guys, like Christmas time, like especially Christmas Eve, like we're somewhat traditional in the way that we eat fish only on Christmas Eve, like no meat at all, and so that's not too great. Like I love fish, I enjoy fish, but I don't know, like there's something about lamb that just it hits so well.
Now I really want Easter. Jesus Christ.
I do too.
I really want Easter food now.
No, I just want Easter, so I know
Jesus
it's
Christ,
summer.
I think he wants Easter as well.
I see. I love Easter because you know summer is coming, and I hate Thanksgiving because you know winter's coming. So I guess that's another thing too, right? Like, but the thing is with winter, you get football, you get hockey, everything. So like the winter time is a blessing for sports, but it's a disaster for driving, going to the mall, doing stuff, right? But I'm gonna kick into the football segment now because this is not a Calcio food connection, and I think people are gonna get mad at me soon. And I have the perfect segment to get the perfect way to get into this, and it's the Ballon d'Or and Joe Cappuccino's boy Federico Chiesa not being on the list. And I want to ask what you guys think about this because I think this is the best way to start. Because I'll give my quick 2 cents. For Chiesa, I think it's extra incentive, motivation to prove people that he was snubbed. He should have been on the list, and he's gonna just continue to do what he's been doing on Juventus and for the Azzurri. He by far has been the best player for Italy after the Euro. I would say most likely, continuously consistent, always playing hard. Determined on Wednesday. It's unfortunate that we started very poorly against Spain, but Chiesa. I think that if Italy had 11 Chiesas on the pitch on Wednesday, they win that game 5-0 because the way he kept on running, even down a man, is remarkable. But when it comes to these kind of like voting things, I think we forget that it's. I don't know who exactly are the people who pick, but it's just based on a person's opinion, and we think too highly of the Ballon d'Or and who's actually picking these players and what the criteria is. Like Pedri, 18 years old, is on the list, and I don't even know what the heck he did last season to kind of earn that spot. N'Golo Kante, the guy, I don't think he deserved to be on the list. I don't remember what he did last year. It was so remarkable to be there with Chelsea. But I'll give the segment now to Richard. Richard, what are your thoughts on Chiesa not being on the list?
I'm honestly okay with it. I think, yes, he's a fantastic player. He is the future. But I think this whole Ballon d'Or 30 nominees list is this big suck off. It should be no more than 10. Honestly, there's maybe 5 guys who are really in consideration. Honestly, it's Lewandowski's trophy to lose, honestly, with all the performances this year. Barella should be in the mix for sure after the year he's had, Jorginho as well. Chiesa has been spectacular, but there's so many good players out there. And some of the players you mentioned probably shouldn't be mentioned as well. Well, Simon Kjaer, I'm happy to hear his name, but to me, there's 10 players really you should really think about, and really it's a top 5 of who should get it. It is a big, contest of who's the best, but honestly, it should. The list is just way too long, in my opinion, and I think it's just overly hyped, and I really pay no attention to it. I'm curious always to see who wins. It's nice when it's not Messi or Ronaldo. Like I said, I think it's Lewandowski this year, but we'll see. And I'm not terribly upset by it. I know a lot of people are, and I can see why they will. They should be, but Chiesa is fantastic. Had a great year. 8 goals, 8 assists, something crazy like that. Fantastic player, instrumental to the Azzurri winning in Euros, but I'm not too disheartened by it. And again, it's just a big list in my opinion that I could care less about.
How about you, Joey? You're the Chiesa boy.
He should have at least gotten nominated. That's my only beef. He should have at least gotten a nomination. But I think that I think Richard kind of hit the nail on the head with what he said. In the words of Johan Cruyff, the Ballon d'Or is just a bunch of friends sitting down and voting for each other is pretty much what they do. And I also agree with, maybe there's 5 people on the actual list that deserve, wholeheartedly to be on that list. This is a lot of it is just for show. And I think a lot of the players don't even really care. If your main motivation as a player is to win the Ballon d'Or, I think you've kind of lost, what the whole sport is really about. But that's just my opinion. That if you want to win the Ballon d'Or and that's the most you want to get out of the sport, then by all means go for it. But I don't think that any true player actually just shoots, that once I get that, that'll be it. Like that's it for me. But I also the last thing I'll say is that I think Lewandowski is going to win it regardless. But yeah, I think Chiesa should have just at least gotten on the list. That's all.
How about you, Johnny?
Well, I'm honestly like, I don't know. Like, I find a 30-man list is kind of redundant. I think it's just there to, like, let's say, water down the actual obvious choices to make people feel like as if, oh my God, there's actual competition for the Ballon d'Or this year. But it's really just a glorified popularity contest. Like, you obviously want players from your team to win it, or like some of your favorite players to win it, because yes, it still is a prestigious trophy. But over the years, especially recent years, I feel like as if it has been watered down in terms of its meaning, in terms of like, oh, okay, he's a Ballon d'Or winner. Like you're talking about a Ballon d'Or winner from like the late '90s to the early 2000s, and even a little bit before that. Like it was players that actually meant something and deserved it. Like there were quality players that won it. Then during the Messi Ronaldo era, not saying that they weren't players that deserved it, but because it was being used as like, oh, but Messi has this amount, Ronaldo has that amount. Like it's at that point it was just like, okay, so is it just like you have to have X amount to be considered good? I don't know. I feel like as if like the Ballon d'Or, even though it's like, yeah, you've been the best player of the year, it still has lost its luster. I guess that's the best way I can probably say this. Like I'm a big Chiesa fanboy. I've been on this train since 2019, and yeah, it kind of sucked that he didn't make it. But at the end of the day, I'm not like, oh my God, he deserved to be there. It's like, hey, if you would have made it, cool. If you didn't make it, that's okay. Like seeing Jorginho on it, like that's great. But I think it's we're just a whole like, oh my God, Jorginho for Ballon d'Or. Like everyone was just like obviously starting the hype train, and I think that's why it caused him to be on it. Do I think he's realistically going to win it? I mean, just because of the teams that he was on, because the team that he was on won a trophy, sure. But if they're going to go based on that, I mean, that's kind of sad. I think it should be like the best player overall, like in like dominant in his position, dominant in his league, dominated overall throughout the year. I think that's the true winner of the Ballon d'Or in my eyes.
Mass, you get the last shout on this.
I don't think the Ballon d'Or has as much importance as it used to. I find anyway, especially with the way it's kind of been always the same 2 or 3 people that get like that. You hold on. You figure it's always the same 3 people who make like that top 3 short list on who might win. But as an award, I mean, like I agree with Jan. You should be like dominating in your position, dominating in your league in that position, etc. But I don't think there's anything of importance anymore. It's lost its luster. If any of the Italians that got nominated, that probably deserves to be there just because of the impact he had for the Euros, might have been Donnarumma at best. But even at that, like I can't remember watching him have any like super stand-up performances in Serie A before the season before. So you can't base it on just that short tournament, obviously. But I mean, I'm really indifferent. I didn't even care to look at the list of 30 people. Like, what kind of short list is that? 30 players right out the gate? It makes no sense to me. Like, a short list should be like at best 5. Like, why are you putting out like a full roster and then some of players? You know what I mean? It makes no sense to me.
No, absolutely, and I don't know how Simon Kier even got inserted into that top 30. I get that he saved the person's life, and I respect that. But
Make a separate like honorary award for
yeah.
him or something. You know what I mean? Like
Chiara
his-
was the best Milan defender last year. He was fantastic. He was one of the best defenders in Serie A last year. I can see why he made it. It's you should never. I mean, I wouldn't nominate him myself, but I can see why. People saying it's just because he got what he did to Ericsson. I call that BS. He's a fantastic defender. That's the best
No, absolutely, but I think that it also played a big role in giving him that spot because
Probably right. You are probably right.
I'm sorry, like no one. I'm not saying like we City fans knew who Simon Kjaer was, but the football world did not know who he was as a whole.
True. That's probably true.
So
Yeah.
When you see a guy on the stage and he goes and saves a life like that, like all of a sudden it's like this gives this guy a Nobel Peace Prize, and it's like okay. I saw Pedro on Twitter was tweeting about it, and I agree with him. Like the guy he's got a point. Like how does a guy? Again, like Joe said, like if the Ballon d'Or becomes what football has to be, then yeah, it's all like it's all bad. But
I do like the honorary award idea, though. That is a great idea.
Yeah, for sure. I don't see why not. I mean, look, you have an award for everything else. Put out an honorary award for like
Sportsman of the Year.
Yeah, something like that. Like the NHL's got an equivalent or something. I can't remember what it is. You know what I mean? So something like that.
If you're talking about sportsmanship, it's Lady Bing.
Yeah, it's the Lady Bing. Yeah, exactly. Like put out an honorary award like that. But in this, like, Lewandowski should probably be the one to win it, but.
He's not going to win it. Messi
He's not going to win it. Yeah, because he won a Copa America finally. He finally got an international trophy. That's the only reason why I think Messi's going to get it is because he finally got that international
Completely
trophy.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, he's going to win it.
It's gonna be bullshit. It's gonna be bullshit.
Watch him win it. Watch him win it. Lewandowski deserves it though.
100%.
Just based on pure performance,
he's not.
It.
He's not gonna get it though. It's gonna go between one of Messi or Ronaldo. It's probably gonna be Messi this year because he did get the win at the Copa
Ronaldo. What did he do last year? That's so impressive.
He showed his abs. Come on.
He won the Coppa Italia and the Supercoppa.
Yeah, he's done nothing. It's just it's a popularity contest now. It's like those superlative awards in high school at this point. You know what
Holy
I mean?
crap! Pioli actually won 2 trophies in his first season, guys.
Wait,
like,
what?
Pioli won 2 trophies in his first season as manager, and he got the axe. And like people shat on him. Like I don't care what a trophy's a trophy, but I just realized that right now as soon as Joe said that. That's pretty remarkable for a guy who never had any coaching experience in his life. And
Pirlo or Pioli?
Pirlo.
Okay, you said Pioli. I thought.
Oh, my bad. Pirlo.
Yeah, he said Pioli.
Oh, I screwed up. I disrespected Pioli.
It was he had it in his mind. It was a Freudian slip.
No, but Pirlo actually won 2 trophies in his first season. Like. That's still impressive, man, for considering how it was a difficult season for them. But like, we can go into this question now. Should he take over for Barcelona? Like, I personally don't think he should.
No,
I think this is another mistake.
Run away. Run away. That is a sinking ship right now.
They're a flaming garbage can right now. Like, don't even get next to it. They're in bad shape.
Plus,
regardless of the finances, like that team's in shambles right now. It's not normal.
I'll give my take quickly, and then I'll let you guys. And I'll give my take quickly, and we can go as a panel in a circle. So, personally, disaster. Don't have Messi. There's only one good player that I can tell you that I know of. Depay should have stayed at Lyon. I think that he made a big mistake going there because. It's just a disaster. It's an aging squad that has 2 good young players who they probably have to sell in the next 3 years because they have to make up the money. So Barcelona is all of a sudden a mid-table team. How crazy is this? We're going from a team who won Champions Leagues for the last decade to a mid-table team. I consider them a mid-table team personally because it's a team that cannot sustain and any balance anymore. They're on a downfall. They're in 7th place right now, and I know that the season's still early, but they don't have that Messi anymore to turn it around. They're going to exit from Champions League. They're not even going to get out of the group stage. Can you imagine if they were to go into Europa League? When was the last time Barcelona played in the Europa League?
I don't even think they're making Europa League for how bad they're finishing in their group right now. I saw
Like,
something.
there you go. See? So I don't know their squad off the top of my head. I know they have Pedri and they got somebody else. What's his name? Ansu Fati. And Ansu Fati is going to get sold for 60 million just to
Don't
help
they
clear
also
up the
have
balance.
Memphis Depay?
Yeah, I just mentioned
Yeah.
that. But again, what value you're going to get for him? You bought him for so much. Like, there's no value. Like, Pedri and Ansu Fati are homegrown players where they're able to give you something back. So I want to hear what you guys think now because I can be talking for an hour. But I'm going to start with Joe Pineapple's Cappuccino on this one.
On whether or not Pirlo should go or run, or just on Barcelona in general. So yeah, all the stuff you said is absolutely true right now. Barcelona is just not the power that they used to be, especially since we all know Messi left. It's just been a downhill spiral from there. Their finances are all over the place. That's on the management, though. That has nothing to do with the players. Do the performances on the field have something to show for that as well? Yes, but this is definitely all the management's fault. In terms of should Pirlo go there, if he does go there, it'll be experience for him. That's the only real plus side that I can see. If he doesn't turn it around, if he says yes, then he will be made the scapegoat, or at least he will be labeled one of the big reasons why that team doesn't perform up to standards. So, yeah, if I were Pirlo, I don't know if I would be jumping into bed with Barcelona right now.
How about you, Mass? I'm just seeing
I'd stay away from Barcelona. I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. They're in a really bad state right now. Coleman's wasn't the right manager to kind of help right their ship in general. But I mean, yeah, there's bigger issues at hand than just the right manager for them, right? I mean, they've got their financials all in disarray. Messi leaving doesn't help. Didn't they had to sell Griezmann back to Atletico to kind of like deaden the blow of how bad their finances are? No, stay away. Pirlo's better off. I think the best move for Pirlo would to be maybe an assistant coach somewhere, or at least like coach like a mid-table team somewhere in Serie that needs a coach to kind of stay within the league and kind of learn. Because throwing yourself onto like a team with a name like Barcelona, it's not a good move, especially with someone who literally managed one season without any prior experience beforehand. I don't think he even coached like a single game for the Juve Primavera. Like, right, Joe? Like, did he even get a chance to coach any of the youth team?
Nope. But he was literally just about to coach the youth team, and they're like, surprise, you're on the first team now. So yeah. No, he didn't even coach a game.
No. I think he should basically do it the right way. Like, coach a mid-table team, work your way up, get some experience. Don't go throw yourself on a team like Barcelona with that kind of name, with under such a spotlight right now, considering that they are in shambles. Like, just he should just stay away from like a big name team and stay out of the spotlight for a bit and just kind of get experience.
Go ahead, Johnny.
Oh yeah, sorry. So, by the way, sorry. I guess trying to do this over the phone is not the best thing ever, because I'm not at home with my setup. So just apologies in advance to everybody watching. If we're still on the topic of Pirlo, which I feel like as if we still are, if I had a magic wand, I would say Pirlo should go to a Serie B team and try to gain a promotion with a Serie B team, because Serie B has much less pressure than Serie A. The competition around you is more or less the same. You know, like there's a lot of lesser experienced coaches in that league, and it's very prestigious on your CV if you took a second division, or even if you want to go to third division team and bring them up through the ranks. It shows that you're capable of elevating your players to perform at a higher level than they actually are. And it shows that you're capable of instilling a winning mentality wherever you go. So if I was Pirlo, I would be like, okay, what Serie B team or Serie C team would like to have, mind you, I guess maybe Serie C, maybe not, but which Serie B team would like to hire me, and let's see if I can take them to say, I think that's probably like his best strat. It doesn't have to be in Italy. I mean, like I say Serie B because obviously he's in a safe little bubble because it's still his people, it's still his culture, it's still his. I'm not saying the man's not capable of living in or speaking English or French, or or even if he wants to go to Germany, sure, go ahead. But I think it's obviously just for now, especially if you're very inexperienced, stay in your comfort zone just a bit. Stay in then after a few years, then go abroad and see if you can do the same thing elsewhere.
Richard?
Thank you. Yeah, no, I think a lot of people everyone on this chat has made some really great points. Joey's 100% right that the management is to blame with Barcelona. I think that they really messed things up over there. But I think as bad as Barcelona are playing, they still have a lot of youth talent there. And what the manager they need is not Pirlo, and Pirlo shouldn't go there. They need a manager who has experienced, who's experienced with younger players, because we're going to have a lot of young players coming through the team here in the next couple of years, and build it around Ansu Fati, Frankie De Jong, all these other guys, and really build a team. Because eventually, in a couple of years, they'll be back to where we used to seeing them, but they're not there. We obviously, since Messi left and all this stuff, they're not the same team as they were a couple years ago. That said, going back to Pirlo, I think Gianni is right. I'm on the same wavelength as him, is that he should go, him and Thiago Motta, they're trying to revolutionize the coaching and the playing styles of football, right? I think both. I know Thiago Motta is currently with Spezia, but I like to see both, go into Serie B, ply their trade there, really try to do, change their game style that they want to implement, do it in Serie B, get some experience, and if you build that team up, stay with them, or use that as a launching pad to get a Serie A team or a bigger team. He needs experience at this point, and if he really wants to change the game and attack like he wants to, practice in Serie B where it's possible. You've seen this in other leagues around the world where the second division is the experimental league, right? That's where you go and you try things, pick a good team in that division, and learn your trade there, and then move it up from there. He's not ready yet. I mean, he did win 2 trophies, obviously, but he needs more coaching experience at this point. And I think Serie B, probably Serie B is probably the best thing for him. Like he said, homegrown country, and is familiarized with everything there, and he'll be close to his wine. So yeah, I think that's probably the best bet for him.
I'm gonna give a shout out to our good friend Joe Fischetti at the Forza Napoli podcast, and he came out with a good survey question today, and I'm not sure. I know most of you guys saw it, and it's: would you still support your club if it was taken over by a Saudi Arabia's public investment fund? And I thought it was a good poll question, and the results are kind of obvious. 78% said yes, 22% said no. I'll give my take on this because I really do like the question, and I think at the end of the day, we're starting to see a new era in football where culture is kind of shifting away, because a lot of these owners are, no disrespect, and they're aging, and they've been with their clubs for such a long time. Where you got Latito, for example, who's in his 60s, going to 70s eventually. I think that Juventus has already shifted away from that with their family, where I think their owner is kind of younger, if I'm not mistaken, where he's kind of more of a modern type of owner. Whereas you got Genoa and Pizzozzi, you got these old school managers who are very stingy, don't want to pay the kind of coin to keep their business as competitive, say, as the EPL, where they've already started that transition, and they've shifted out with a lot of clubs where the oil money is coming in, how most people say. Being a Lazio fan, I know that there will be a mix where the fans still like the culture, but you have to adapt to new times, and if the EPL are so well ahead of other leagues, you have to kind of jump on board and say, hey, you know what? it's time that we go to that kind of like way as well. Where and I give credit to Juve because they're the only club probably in Serie A, and I guess Milan too. Milan deserves credit because they've already started that transition, understanding that you got to kind of spend money, kind of build within, kind of get that youth system, and you got to compete against some of the bigger leagues, right? Um, if I was Lazio, I would love to have a Saudi Arabia owner because I don't know what it's like to buy a player for $50 million. Like I don't remember the last. Our biggest transfer is 20 million since he took over. I don't know how we were the third or second most winningest team in the Serie A in the last decade. Okay, that just shows that they've been able to kind of compete with with clubs. I don't know how. Like, I guess good managing, buying. Now, not always having money doesn't always solve the problem either. Like we bought Vedat Mariki for 18 million, and the return on investment right now is not looking good. But sometimes when you spend the money, it doesn't always work out. And I do agree with Ivano that Roma should be put in that category of the freakins. But I am a little concerned about Roma. We can talk about that after. Is that they put in another loan, and loans are good, but you also got to pay back the initial debt. So loans are just going on collateral, and it's just adding on to the debt that they have. So in a way, if it works out that they win, it's good, but you want to kind of get that balance sheet to zero, where Roma has really struggled in recent years. You guys let me know what you think about if you would want this kind of ownership, the EPL, we'll call it, the EPL pyramid scheme, where they're just going all oil money now. And I'll start with you, Mass. What do you think?
Well, Ivano just said that there's no loan. They put in more working capital, the Friedkins. So just to point that out.
No, hold on. I get that, but you're still spending money. At the end of the day, you still owe money. Loans or no loans, you want to get balance. And I think Milan is the only team who doesn't get enough credit, who are in the right mindset, knowing that they need to get the balance sheet down, but at the same time have kept their club competitive. I know Richard's going to shake his head, but you're down to 100 million from what were you before? 300-400 million? Like, come on, man. It took a progress of 3 years to get to what you are now. Roma, Inter, they're going backwards, man. Like you want to buy players, I get it, but you also have to keep that financial matter in perspective of where you're supposed to be. Juve does it good. They get the loan. They got the 400 million loan capital. Like they do things. People think, oh, they're 200 million debt, but don't worry. The Agnelli family has been doing this for 50 years. They know what they need to do in order to get out of that hole, and that's why I respect them as a business, and as a team. That they know what they're doing. Sorry, Max.
Yeah, I don't know how I'd feel about a Saudi takeover on my team, where like just a foreign takeover. Partially because okay, it'd be good to have like an owner who could kind of just spend freely, but you don't want depending on the history of your club, you don't want to lose that identity either, right? Because that's what tends to happen. You got all these bandwagoners hopping on because you're buying these like star players, like PSG, for example. All of a sudden, out of the blue, within the last 20 years, they're all of a sudden they're a relevant team. Before that, did anyone really watch PSG, or was there any attention on Ligue 1 at some point? If there was, you were looking at teams like, let's say, like Bordeaux, Marseille, Lille. It wasn't PSG. No one cared about Paris until they got taken over by basically a country. At this point, it was the country of Qatar, or is it Paris? Right? Am I wrong? Like he's a Qatari oil sheik. I can't remember. I know he's backed by a country. He's definitely backed by a country. So I'm not against it, but it also depends on how it's done. That's the thing, because you want to kind of retain your club identity moving forward, and to kind of pay that homage to your fans too, and not just completely overhaul the team and just like make it look like you're playing a video game at this point, spending money on players that you can get just for no reason at all. I mean, if the trophies come, fine. But I mean, at that point, you still want to keep the most important thing is to keep the club identity, despite having the extra money to kind of spend. So,
Richard.
Yeah, sorry, I was just typing away there. So I have two comments. First, back to Milan. I don't want to give them credit because they royally fucked up. They held on to Berlusconi way too long. They went for the big money, the Chinese money with Yong Hong Lee. That was stupid. That kind of caused a whole banter era. Well, end of Berlusconi era. And out of necessity, they went to an American hedge fund whose whole thing is about not losing money. And they're, of course, going to balance the books and everything like that. And they're doing things the right way now. But it's not because they're trying to invent this way or trying to be smart about it. It's because they fucked up and they brought in an American hedge fund to bail them out of the whole ownership issue. And then now they're fixed. And now they're going in the right direction, like you said. Their losses are getting smaller and smaller. And if they continue to be in the Champions League, getting this money, they're going to be in the surplus and being good, especially with a new stadium possibly coming in with sharing with Inter. So that's to the side. Would I take the money? My personal opinion, I think, having these big investors come in is ruining the game of football. It's ruining EPL. It's ruining all this. Yes, it's a lot of money coming in. It's great. But it's also a lot of publicity going into the English Premier League. That's why all these other outside interests are coming in. They're going in there mostly for the money. Obviously, that's what owners do, right? But I don't like it. I personally like the German Bundesliga model where it's a 50+1 rule where you can't have this happen. There's only a couple teams that kind of outsmarted found loopholes like Leipzig, right? Red Bull, they found a loophole in that system, but everything else they kept the culture intact. Now you could say that Bundesliga is like falling behind now because all these other leagues like PSG and you got the EPL and all this stuff, they're spending money and you're pulling away. The big money is really pulling away, right? But as much as I would love the money, you want to spend and get be all like that, I don't like it. You want to have a manager or owner that's competent, can keep especially for the historic clubs, the clubs like all the ones that we support here. You want to keep that value, and then if you lose all that, you're just another PSG. Sorry, Jerry, Chelsea, Man City, whatever. You don't want to do that. You want to have that identity, and you can lose that if you have the wrong ownership. I mean, look at Young Hong Lee. So.
I don't categorize Chelsea as much. I'll say why. It's because it's been the same owner since like near 2000, where he's kept the club intact. It hasn't really. I think that identity is still there, where Chelsea still has its roots and where it came from. I was actually fortunate to go to London like 3 years ago, and I felt that it was kind of like there's still history there. Not a lot of like new fans bandwagoner. I feel that PSG is a whole different world. One, because the league itself has never had that. It's never had that prestigious name to it, or like people recognize it. Whereas the EPL has always been recognized, and the fans have always been there. So there's that familiarity. PSG becomes the biggest club in Ligue 1 in who knows how long. So a lot of fans are going to jump onto that in France and be like, hey, I'm going to support PSG because they're going to be a winning team. And finally, there's some success in the French league. And Roman has always backed up his team and has always kept it consistent of buying players. And there have been eras, like there's been times where it hasn't gone as good as fans would like to see it. But what about you, Joe?
I had a hard time with that question. I saw that. I do remember seeing that question. Who would I still support my club? It's hard for me to even picture that happening just because the Agnelli family has been in control for so long. I just don't see it. I just don't see it ever happening. So that's why I had a hard time kind of, wrapping my head around it. But I do remember what I picked. I picked no, I wouldn't support my club anymore just because that to me would seem like that would ruin the tradition of the team. Then we would just be like, the PSGs and, the Man Cities of the world. It's not not the same club that I would have, that I grew up supporting. That would be the king kicker for me there. So yeah, that's really what it comes down to.
Johnny, you got the last call.
Well, okay, so will I still support my clubs if they got bought by a royal family money type of thing? Yes. I'm not going to be hypocritical. I'm not saying that you guys are hypocritical. I'm just saying I'm not going to be like, oh, no, all of a sudden that a very, very, very affluent owners appeared. I'm going to hate this club. No, I mean, there are some owners that are just more well off than others. By the way, balanced book team. We forgot to mention Napoli. Napoli first in the league right now, and they're a team that's pretty much balanced in terms of finances. But and that's nice to see. And when it comes to winning, if we're gonna let's just say Napoli, Roma, one of them gets bought by a royal family or a Saudi family or oil money family, whatever term you want to use, and they start winning. They win the league. They win. They win Champions League by some divine miracle. Yeah, you're gonna be happy that your team won. I'm sorry, if you're a fan of the team, you're gonna have a part of you saying, "Yeah, my team finally won the trophy." And in your eyes, I can never say that in my lifetime I'll ever see like one of my teams winning the Champions League trophy. Just the fact that seeing Roma in the semifinals like 3 years ago was a surprise to me. I would never expected that to happen, and it did, and it felt nice, and it felt awesome, and that will always be memorable because they're not owned by an affluent family. However, if they would win, if they would succeed, I would still be happy because I finally saw my team win the trophy. But it wouldn't have that much meaning as to like seeing your team like actually work their way and actually earn that trophy. That's what it is. It's a trophy or a title that's bought versus earned. If you're still going to be happy because your team won something, but it's not going to be as much as you earning it. It's just going to be like, but it felt like as if we just bought the title. We have a title to our name now. And then I just want to mention something quickly. I know it's going a little bit off topic, but if a team, let's say right now, like Newcastle's situation right now, the fans know right now that like, okay, now they're just all of a sudden probably going to be good because they just got bought out by a very rich family. But fans 50 years down the line, they won't really care about this. They won't really notice that. They'll be like, yeah, but my team has won X number of trophies in the past 50 years. What has your team won? They're not going to look back at the fact saying that only started winning because this family bought them. Just all of a sudden people are going to say this is a club with a rich history because it's a team that has won X number of trophies throughout the years. And that's what's the only unfortunate thing about this. And I feel like as if this will be, I don't think it will become the new norm, but if this somehow becomes a new norm, we're going to see a lot of clubs fall behind. And we're going to see a lot of leagues fall behind. We already are seeing it. But like come club level, like it's only going to be literally one league. And the only excitement that we're probably going to have is watching national team. Because that's probably right now the one type of trophy that can never be bought, which is your international trophy. Let me mind you, FIFA is a corrupt organization, but that's not the point of the combo. More or less, international titles are usually the type of trophies that will more often than not have no taint of being bought towards them.
I think Serie A is going to go through that channel where we're going to start to see oil money come into Serie A. If it's not today, it's eventually going to happen where we've seen Roma get taken over by an American investor. We've seen Milan has the Elliott Fund. Who else? I think Genoa just got purchased as well. A stake. Spal.
Isn't Friedkin a Texas owner?
Yeah.
Right?
See,
that's oil money.
No, there you go.
No, I don't think he's really. It's got anything to do with.
I'm fucking with it.
No,
I don't know the backgrounds, but it
takes away from the sport, I find, because like it's just at this point it's like these like video game models you see. It's like pay to play, pay to win. You know what I mean? It makes no sense to me. There's no merit.
It's pretty much what it is.
Yeah, but then again, the guys like, okay, like money is the be all end all in a lot of situations. So I can understand why it's going that way, but us being the diehard fans and kind of appreciating the sport for what it is, we're the ones who probably lose out in this. because it's just not going to be fun to watch anymore. It's like I think I saw like a video the other day where it's like Griezmann was on the plane with the French national team, and as a joke he was playing like was it the Football Manager or something on his phone. He's like he looks at Mbappe, he's like, oh yeah, I just bought you for like 145 million, you're going to play in Newcastle. So he's like trying to mimic like the Newcastle buyout, and he's like, oh, and then Mbappe looks at him like, it's not really warm there, is it? He's like, no, it's not warm at all. So it's basically that's what it's going to look like. It's going to be like, it's like as if we just boot up our PlayStations, play manager mode with a financial takeover. We could just buy whoever we want. Forget your youth academies, everything that these clubs have built and tried to get their foundation, try to build their foundation on. It's all gone. It's done. Like going back to Barcelona, for example. Speaking of youth academies and their financial problems, are Ansu Fati and that other guy out of La Masia, or did they get them? Yeah, they are. Okay, because I remember way back in the day, Barcelona was like that entire squad was literally brought up from their youth system. That when they had that unbelievable run.
You want to know who came from? You want to know who came from the youth system? You're gonna laugh. Patrick.
No.
Patrick
really?
Patrick came out of their youth system. I wrote a piece about him, and he started out of their academy, and I believe Lazio have purchased him from Barcelona. And so it's funny how people we joke about him, but you know, I actually want to talk about Patrick for 1 minute because I am going to give him praise on this little segment here, and I always shit on him, and we're talking about Barcelona, but I think it speaks highly of any player to come out of Barcelona's youth academy and to have an opportunity to kind of start your career there, because that's something that's not given lightly to any player, where they select those who they think are good and could probably nurture and grow within their academy. Here's the funny part. People laugh about what Patrick does as a player, that they think he's an outlier. He's an issue with Lazio. I think it's kind of funny that for the last 6 seasons, he continues to be with the team, and Inzaghi always used him properly. Like he overused him over other players. And this season, Maurizio Sarri has used him as his first backup over Stefan Radu, which to me is absurd and crazy. But in a season where Acerbi has been our worst defender, Patrick has been our best defender. And it's crazy to even think about that, because anytime he's come into play for Lazio, he hasn't made a mistake for the most part. He's looked comfortable, stable, and I'm really impressed of how he's matured and kind of grown under Sarri. And I think maybe playing in a back four has really suited him. Now, he's not a natural center back. I think that if he was a bigger player, that would benefit him. But I think that for Lazio's sake and how bad they are as a defensive team, if I'm a Cherby and Luis Felipe, I would take a chapter and a page out of Patrick's book and say, hey, we should start be playing like this guy. We don't sprint the whole way up every goddamn play and think we're Hercules and think we're going to be scoring like Cheeto Immobile every play. Like, if you watch the way Acerbi and Felipe play, it's so easy to exploit Lazio because we leave a gaping hole in the back end. You got two guys going up, and in a 3-5-2, we would have Maricic and Latidi support the center backs because they play up and down. That's not the case now in Sarri's 4-3-3. You got to stay back. You can't do overlaps all the time. You can't always be thinking that you're going to be sprinting. So I want to give some love here to Patrick, because we are very easy to like rip on the guy, but and I know you guys don't give a shit about Lazio, so I am not gonna segue on that one. But I am gonna ask something else for you guys, and I appreciate you allowing me to give me that little piece there on Patrick. But I think it's a good question by Gerald, and I'll ask you guys: what do you guys think about a Kessie Brozo swap? I'll make my answer short because I already talked a lot. No, not happening. This is stupid. I wouldn't do it. That's just personally me. I think that you keep Brozo, understands the 3-5-2, suits the system, has been there, still has a lot left in him. Kessie's going to demand higher wages than Brozo. And for a team who is trying to kind of minimize their money, I think this is a deal that maybe is not best for Inter. I could be wrong, but I say you stick with Brozo and you go with a player who wants to be there. Richard, you're the Milan guy. You're better on this than me. Would you take this swap?
No. Personally, I want the goal to be keep Kessie. And if you can't keep Kessie, I don't want to see a good Milan player go to Inter. Hasn't happened in several years. But
what about Hakan?
Who? I said good. I said good player. I said good player. Listen. No, I think Kessie's a really fantastic player. I think he would help Inter tremendously. It'd be good for them. And not to say Brozovic's not a bad player, but I prefer to have Kessie on Milan. And if they couldn't keep him, hopefully someone else picks him up. Not Inter, and not Juve either. But that's I don't want to see Kessie go to. It doesn't matter about Brozovic. I just don't want to see Kessie at Inter because I think he's that good of a player.
How about you, Pineapple Pizza?
I don't see it happening. I really don't see it happening. I would love him at Juve, but I don't see that happening either. Really, the only clubs that would be willing to pay anything would be EPL teams, and I think that would be the option for him anyway. They would be the ones willing to give him any sort of contract that would entice him at all. So yeah, I don't think that they'd swap for Brozo at all.
Mass?
I don't see the swap happening at all, and like Joe said, I really think the only place that I could see Kessie or Kessie going if he decides to leave Milan because they can't pay the wages he wants is probably the PL. It's the only place I think he'd be able to go to. Barring that, there's no way the swap happens between two Milan teams like that. When's the last time that's actually happened? How long ago?
I don't think it's ever happened.
I think so. Maybe this is not a Roma. This is not a Roma Lazio rivalry, guys. Let's be realistic, man.
Yeah. I took but Pedro, for example, we had said it.
1980.
Yeah, exactly.
1981. Come on. I was when that deal happened. I had a lot of Inter Milan fans say that there's no our rivalry doesn't even compare to this. Like Milan and Inter players swap back and forth like there's no rivalry at all. I heard like they go back and forth like it's nothing, which is crazy.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it's usually Inter players going to Milan like Pirlo, Ibrahimovic, Balotelli. I mean, throughout the years, you kind of see that happening, But
the upgrade has to get better.
Inter fans butted right now. That's just off the top of my head of players that I can name, but I'm pretty sure there's probably more. I don't think it's gonna happen at all. Not that it's not a good question. It's just more like it's a very, 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 very tiny chance of happening. I think if he's going to be leaving Milan, it's more likely going to be at the end of the season when his contract is up. I believe, it is at the end of the season that his contract expires, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or anybody? Yeah. Sorry, slight lag on my phone. But yeah, like I think it's just more like if he's not going to renew, then I think he just walks in summer too. PL team probably. I wouldn't be surprised if like a team like PSG, especially another player on a free, to get him, just to add more to that super squad over there. So I mean, plus he speaks French if I'm not mistaken. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he does speak French.
I think Romagnoli's contract screwed over Milan. I think his contract kind of set the barrier where he's making $6 million a year, and a lot of those players now think that they're entitled to that kind of wage, and that's why Kessie's demands are ludicrous. I don't think he's worth $9 million a year. I think that's freaking insane. But Richard might think different.
I think he's good this year. He's not as he had been last year, right? I think he's worth everything. I think Donnarumma's worth everything, but Milan are not in a situation they can afford that. Elliot set a hard limit, and this is what they're gonna pay. Nothing's going over that, no matter who you are. I mean, I would love to pay Kessie what he wants, $9 million a year. It's not my money, but he's not going to get that from Milan at all. He'll go to EPL, like everyone's saying, and get that money.
Yeah, but I will shift it to this. Belotti is not going to Inter. I'll tell you right now. They bought Correa. They got Lautaro Martinez locked up. And they have Dzeko now. Belotti's a starter. Okay? You put Belotti in, you got 4 starters up front. I'm surprised. I know Correa is going to want to be a starter, not be a bench player, because he was the starter for Lazio. And basically, the rare occasion he was a sub. I don't see him going to Inter. And I saw tweets that he's already mentioned that he would like to go to Milan. I think that's the proper destination for him. I know that they have Giroud, but I think that Belotti would be the number 9 perfect starter for that team. He suits that kind of system that they play at. What would they play, Richard? They play a 4-3-3? Or is it 4-2-3-1?
4-2-3-1.
I still think it's a good setup for him, though. He's the lone striker up front, so very adaptable. I think that he goes to Milan next year, and if they don't pay Kessie the wages, I think that money there would be shifted towards a striker that they really need, and Belotti is that guy for me to go to Milan. Unless Inter decides to sell Lautaro Martinez, even renewing a contract means jack all in football. It only gives you leverage in order to sell your player at the end of the day, because what we're seeing now is that a lot of players are leaving on free transfers, and it's becoming like the NHL, where you wait for free agency deadline and they just leave. You don't have to give up any assets to trade for a player, and teams like Milan now don't have to give up anything to Inter in order to get Belotti. So this is smart business by them, because, like you said, you got a club here who doesn't have the financial resources to do things, but there is always the extreme of going through a free transfer. Do you guys think that Belotti goes to Milan, or does he go somewhere else? Because Torino is out of the equation. I'll leave the Milan boy last year. We'll go with Johnny. Johnny hasn't gone first yet.
You know what? I'm kind of throwing something controversial in the water. I think he actually goes to Juve. I feel like as if Juve has been having, like, just to find like a true striker, like a replacement. You know, like I feel like as if he might swap the Torino team and go to Juventus. I mean, Milan would make perfect sense. I'm not saying you're wrong. Milan would make 100% perfect sense, especially with the fact that Ibrahimovic is obviously not getting any younger. It'd probably be interesting to see him learn under Ibrahimovic, but and if I'm not mistaken, Rebic is playing currently as a type of, he's usually a winger, but he's playing right now as like a false 9 type of thing when he plays. I think Richard can correct me later if I'm wrong, but I think that would obviously be good for him too. But I don't know. I feel like it's the only team that I could see Belotti realistically upgrading to in terms of, let's say, the top tier teams, if we're going to tier them up. I really think Juve. I don't know, for some reason it fits in my eyes, but I could be weird here. But that's my personal opinion on the matter.
Joy Pineapples.
I agree with Johnny. I think that would be a great idea. I like Belotti. I've been a fan of his for a while. Even though I thought that like the 100 million asking price was a little overrated, but if I remember correctly, I think the owner of Torino, Urbano Cairo, I think he even said that he would never ever sell to Juve. I think his exact words were "over my dead body." So yeah, I don't think that would happen. But I think that the flow chart of what you said earlier, Johnny, kind of holds up. Both I think that the more likely destination out of the two would be Milan, just because like you said, Ibra's not getting any younger. And I don't know how much longer they're going to, keep renewing his contract to keep him on the team. But other than that, like I say over and over again, the only league that has money to spend right now is the EPL and PSG. They just have endless money. They can do whatever they want.
Not even Liga. He just said PSG.
Just PSG, not even Liga.
Yeah, not even
just
the rest
PSG.
of Liga, just PSG.
So yeah, it would take. I don't know if one, Torino would be willing to sell to a direct rival in Serie A. And two, I don't know if any clubs in Serie A outside of pretty much Juve would be willing to pay. And we're not even in great financial shape either. So there's always that. So there are more questions than answers in terms of Belotti and where he's going to go.
Mass?
Guys, I just looked it up now. I completely forgot because I remember Belotti's contract coming to an end at some point in 2022, and it expires in June 2022. So whether Cairo wants to sell him to Juve or not, or to anyone, he can basically just wait it out and just sign with anyone in June. So, logical destinations would be either Juve or Milan. At this point, I completely eliminate Torino's owner and him complaining about selling to Juve, because if Belotti really wants to go to Juve, he'll just wait till his contract expires, go there and negotiate a contract. You know what I mean? The problem with Torino, I think, in general, this is a worst case scenario, especially for a team who could use the money like Torino, is not selling Belotti like maybe 3 years ago when his value was probably at its best. And now they're going to be in a situation where I think Belotti, the player in general, and whatever team is interested, has the upper hand here, because they know if they're not going to get him for the price they want, if they need him immediately, they could just wait till June and he'll just come on a free, and they just got to worry about his wages. So Torino is in a bad spot right now trying to offload Belotti for any value at this. No, unless they can manage to extend them, but I don't think the negotiations to extend have actually been happening. So no, they're in a tough spot right now. They messed up. They should have sold Belotti maybe 2-3 years ago when they could have. Now it's just a waiting game for Belotti. If he doesn't want to go to any of the teams that are interested, or he could just wait it out. That's all it is. It's a waiting game now. Torino's in a bad spot on this front. So likely destinations, like I said, since he's gonna probably leave on a free, either Juve or Milan if he wants to stay within Italy, or you find some team. I doubt it. I don't think any EPL teams have shown any interest in him anyway. And PSG is who's he gonna go and start ahead of at PSG? He's gonna be in City. It's just a matter of who and anyone who's willing to maybe match his wages, because I'm not even gonna worry about a transfer fee here, because they're just gonna wait it out until his contract's up in June. So,
Richard, you got the last say because you're the Milan boy, and I know that the comment is on the bottom still there. I want to end it off with that. So go ahead, buddy.
So I agree. I think that Belotti's best fit is with Milan, right? I think, Ibrahimovic is leaving. Giroud is still getting up there in years.
Giroud's up there in age.
He's 34, almost 35. Yeah, it makes the perfect sense for Belotti to go there. But we all know, out of all the Serie clubs, the team that gets the prices jacked up when they want somebody more than anybody else is Milan. And Torino are going to ask for something stupid that Milan cannot afford or won't pay. So what's going to happen? He's going to go to Inter. He's going to wait it out for that to be free, and they're going to sign him on a free, more than likely. I can see it. I don't imagine him going to Milan, though I think that's the best fit out of most of the clubs in the league, honestly.
I want to end it here. We're going to have Joy Pineapple Pizza exclusively on next week to talk about Roma and pineapple pizza.
We're not talking about pizza.
We're not talking about pizza. Pizza stays behind the closed doors, but no, we're going to be talking about Juve Roma. Yes, I know I'm a Lazio fan, but I'm not biased. I don't just talk about Lazio on Calcio Connection. And no, I'm not a Inter fan, so fuck you all. I will bury you guys all in a fucking goddamn God damn it, man!
Give us a Forza Inter one time.
Yeah, fuck that, man. I haven't gone to that yet. I won't.
Just
I'll
become
go-
like me, Jerry. There's no shame. Just become like me.
I said they would be my second team if I had to pick a second team because of my father. Doesn't say that I am going for Inter. I respect the fans because they're very nice. They're very classy to me, and like you guys said, you guys say that you wouldn't want that Saudi Arabia kind of ownership. Well, I believe in nostalgia. Nostalgia with Inter and Lazio is that there's that history together where they have that friendship where they've helped each other out, like whatever it is. I don't give a I don't want to get too political. That's not what I'm into. I just like the fact that the fan base has always been by each other's side, and for that reason I would always pick them as my second team. But I would never cheer for them. Like I'm happy if they win a Scudetto. Rather have them win it than Juventus. Sorry, Joe. Or Milan. Sorry, Richard. Or Roma. Go fuck yourself. But
Oh boy.
But I'm okay with I'm okay with Napoli winning the Scudetto. I have no only because Cheeto is from Napoli, so
Naples.
Naples. So I have like that kind of link. But at the most part, it's going to be different next weekend. Inzaghi coming home, where it all started, in Rome, and I guess I'll talk about that more next week because it's going to be very hard to see Inzaghi managing versus Lazio, but I think that for some reason I just feel that Lazio is going to come. Oh, you're upside down, buddy. I think there's going to be a strong response from Lazio after that poor outing versus Bologna. Very poor outing. I mean, like disgusting. But the last point I'll want to close it off with: if Kessie and Romagnoli leave, Milan lose close to 150 million in less than 2 years. Simon Kjaer is also looking to leave. Guys, this I hate this, okay? I hate when I have to hear, and I'm not going to say names on the pod because you guys know who these people are, where they say it's bad business by Milan that they didn't sell Hakan, they didn't sell Gigi. Well, guess what? It's still good business because if they make Champions League for a second straight year, the 150 million, throw that shit down the drain, okay?
It doesn't matter anymore.
Means fuck all, okay? I hate this stupid analogy. No offense, Gerald. No offense, Gerald. I'm not trying to take this out on you. It's not just it's in general where you can't base the fact that they lost 150 million when they made Champions League. That's the biggest goal. The long term. And if they make it for a second straight year because of Kessie and Romagnoli and they leave, it's fine. Because they got the equity coming in, they got the funds coming in, and I think what's people are forgetting is it's a sales pitch. If Lazio's got a balance sheet, okay, and it's nice and dandy, but when you want players to come, no one's coming because you're a Europa League team. It's hard. Guys like Sergei Milinkovic-Savic are a dime a dozen, okay. The fact that people say when is Savic going to leave? Well, he's loyal to the club. We talk about that loyalty and how players don't have loyalty anymore. Ciro Immobile and Savic are probably the last two I'll see on Lazio who will die and bleed by a Laziale. I don't see Savic being there for the rest of his career, but for 7 years, I think that's given enough to Lazio and how they've been able to stay competitive. They still missed out on 150 million. Okay, do they make Champions League if they're not there last season? If Hakan is not there, if Gigi's not there last year, do they make it? I don't think they do. I don't think they're as good. I think that Gigi stole a lot of games for them last year and made them much better. But but the difference is that Lazio will never lose Sergei and Immobile on a free because most of the time they sell their players and they do their business differently. I feel bad for Milan in a way because they probably thought that, especially Gigi, they thought he was going to sign a contract. And they kept him thinking that he was going to stay long term. And then out of the blue, this stupid, ugly agent, that fat fuck. I'm gonna say it straight out.
Mino Raiola.
That fat fucking blimp who looks like a disgusting pig because, and I shouldn't be saying this, but I'm gonna say it. Looks like a fucking for a guy who has millions of dollars, okay, and you would think, okay, that I don't know how this guy's in here, okay. For a guy who makes millions of dollars, you think he'd look more respectable, much cleaner, more like presentable.
Have
He
you seen
looks-
Jack Nicholson?
No, I have not.
Looks just like him.
Oh God, but like at the end of the day, guys, like it's business. Like I guess Milan, I don't look at 150 million. I look at the whole overall, and I think that Milan as a whole has been doing so good under Maldini that because he didn't sell two players is not the end of the world. Hakan, you lost. What did you lose out on? A guy who fucking stinking his balls up at fucking Inter.
He's
You didn't lose-
inconsistent. So they
Yeah.
didn't lose anything. You know what I mean?
Here's another thing. How can you sell these players when their wages are ludicrous? Who's gonna willing to take Gigi and pay him 12 million like PSG? So how can you sell him? How can you sell Hakan when he wants 7 million a year? Who's gonna pay that in the Serie A? Like these are things that people are forgetting. Simon Kjær, I don't know if he wants to leave. We'll ask Richard that. But guys, I say my piece. I think I went a little over line, but and I'll say the last thing. I Lazio does business to the best of their ability, and I like how they extended Immobile's contract and Acerbi's contract. And there's a reason why. They're leveraged now. If people want Immobile, you gotta pay money to get him. He's not going on a free transfer next year. You want Savage, you gotta pay. He's not going on a free transfer anytime soon. Inter wanted Correa. Well, guess what? They had to pay 31 million plus because he wasn't going anywhere for the next 3 more years. And I think that's one thing that Lazio does right. I don't know how other clubs do it, but they secure their best players and they make sure that they don't lose them for nothing. I think Stefan de Vrij was the rare occasion where he went to Inter on a free transfer. It happens. It's unfortunate he left. But for the most part, they do business right. We sold Felipe Anderson for 41 million, and we brought him back for 3.5 million. Lazio does business right to keep the books balanced. I know that in recent seasons we spent a lot on Vedat Marici and Fades, but you know what? I don't look at it all bad. I look at a team that said, hey, we're going to pay some money. And as bad of an investment it is, it's still, you got to look at it as an encouraging sign too. Your team was willing to spend money. And they were trying to be a little ambitious for the first time. It's baby steps. Like, people get mad. Why did we buy Vedat Marici for 20 million? Well, guess what? It could have been worse, and you didn't buy a player in the first place, and your club was still just being cheap. So you need something to build off in order to get better. And it's the first time I ever see Marici do that. I think Johnny has to go, if I'm not mistaken. But you have to go, right, Johnny?
Yeah. I was just because I'm having Thanksgiving with the family, and I think I've been away for a bit too much. So I think my mom's starting to wondering where the hell I'm at.
You can kill it off if you want, and if you want to give your last say. I was talking about Kessie Romagnoli. I kind of bantered off there.
Do you always play peekaboo on the Calcio Connection?
No, honestly, StreamYard on the phone. This is the first and last time I'm doing it because, like I said, I'm not at home, so I don't have my setup. So I had to use this as a last resort, and it sucks because every time I open up the chat option, my phone disconnects. So I can't even type a message because of this. To give my final thoughts on the matter, it would be big pieces to lose. I agree 100%. But Maldini, I was just because one of my best friends is a diehard Milan fan, and what he loves about what Maldini is doing is that he's trying to show that the club comes first. No matter who you are, no matter what you have done for the team, the club is going to come first. And the fact that he's helped this team come out of a Manchester era back into being a competitive side again, like when I say competitive, always consistent. Well, I'm not gonna say like it's only their first year back, but let's say they are consistently back into Champions League. They're back to competing for the Scudetto year in and year out. That's his goal, is to make Milan that glory team again. And if a player is going to try to put in a position, they try to put Milan in a position where they're going to be compromised, or their competitiveness is going to be compromised, Maldini will make that sacrifice. He's going to be like, okay, is that what you feel like you deserve? I hope you get it elsewhere. No bad blood, but Milan comes first. And a club like Milan, because they are one of the big three, they won't have difficulty finding either younger players or players in general that would want to come and play. That's the benefit of being prestigious like Milan. That's the benefit of being prestigious like Inter, and that's the benefit of being prestigious like Juve. You can make those type of, let's say, I guess you can call them costs in terms of letting players go for free, because you know that somewhere down the line things are going to balance out in the end. Now, if you're looking at a club like our middle tier clubs like Roma, Napoli, Lazio, if you let a player like that go out on a free, that hurts. It hurts because now, like, you don't have that prestigious draw that like the big three would have. So you would have to really work hard to find a way to fill in that hole. You know, like Roma, for example, you know, they go from being semifinalists in Champions League, they lose that same summer, they lose Nyangolan and Strootman, now all of a sudden they just spiral out of control. And then the year after, they lose Salah goes on to win Champions League with Liverpool. You know, like, it sucks because Roma, until the Friedkins came along, we're still in a massive recovery period. So if Milan does lose them,
After the Champions League run where we beat Barcelona, we lost. I think we had already got rid of Strootman, if I'm not wrong. There, Salah wasn't there for sure. So we did. We lost Strootman. Salah was already gone.
Then we lost Nyangolan the year after.
The year after. We lost Manolas right after. El Shaarawy got sold to a Chinese team. A lot of pieces ended up.
De Rossi left for Boca Juniors.
They iced him out of the squad, kind of what Spalletti did with Totti, but that's another story.
But all I'm saying is that they can, like, it does suck to lose those players, but I agree with you, Jerry. Club comes first. At the end of the day, and especially when you're prestigious like those clubs, you can it'll eventually balance out itself somewhere down the line.
Exactly. But I'll let you go. Just, I guess, plug away. Where can people find you so you can go have your turkey dinner?
Well, more like dessert right now for coffee and everything. But you can find me personally at my down below over here. That's the same thing on Instagram and Twitter. I'm also part of a podcast group called The Calcio Guys. It's at The Calcio Guys. We do episodes weekly. We discuss mostly Serie A, and we try to focus on most of the teams in Serie A in our podcast. You tend to have a fan of a different team every week on. So yeah, we have a variety because we do have myself, Adriano, and Nicholas. We do support our own individual teams, but we like to have variety on the show, so you can find us there as well.
Thanks for coming on, buddy. Appreciate it.
No, thanks for having me on, Jerry. I always love coming on, and always love having this next back and forth with you guys.
Thanks, buddy.
Bye, Richard. Bye, Matt. Bye, Joe.
Take care, Johnny.
Enjoy your fake Thanksgiving.
Canada, eh?
Yeah, eh? Joey Cappuccino.
Oh my God.
What do you think about this? I lost track of what I was talking about, to be honest. But
it was Kair, Romagnoli, and
yes, I should have just left the comment on. Fuck sakes.
What do I make of that? And whether or not, like, if Romagnoli stays or all that good stuff. Look, would it be a loss for the team? Yes. If both of those players were to leave, if Carrier were to leave too, I think that it would be a loss, but you need to just pick up the pieces and move on. Like you said, Jerry, if they make Champions League, that's mission accomplished pretty much. I think Can you lament the loss of those incoming funds a little bit, because it moves the needle that much further to more financial stability? But sure, the Champions League does that as well, and it's also, like you said, a hard selling point, to turn down for a prospective player. But I think that I don't think that they would miss so much, the money, as it would be the talent that those two players have, if that counts for anything. So that's my 2 cents.
Mass?
It depends. I mean, I see in the comment they mentioned Kier also, losing Romagnoli and Kier in the backlines would be pretty devastating, I would think. I mean, I don't really follow Milan that much, but I would think it's pretty devastating for them. Kessie, I know they could probably get a pretty penny for, but at that point, like everyone's been saying, like if you guys make Champions League, you have the funds in, you keep going further into Champions League, the money comes in, it's gonna offset all that. Yeah, it like Joe said, it does move the needle if you were to get that compounded with whatever value you can get for those players, but at this point, their bigger issue would be trying to replace them and trying to find that same quality after, if assuming all three leave. So, yeah.
Richard, you got the last say because you're the Milan boy, and have you heard anything about Simon Kier?
No, I have not.
I haven't heard this either.
I know he's due for a raise.
He loves Milan.
He's getting paid like chump change. He's getting paid like 1.5 or something crazy. He deserves a lot more for sure.
Wow.
Well, I haven't heard anything about him wanting to leave. I've heard nothing but him wanting to stay. But who knows? It's football. Anything can happen. So first, my comments on this is fuck Mino Raiola. He's the bane of every football player or football fan's existence. The sooner he's out of Milan, the better. But if it means keeping Romagnoli and Kessie, or I don't know if he's with Kessie, but with Romagnoli, then that's fine. But honestly, I'm gonna trust that Elliott has the best foot forward for Milan, that he's thinking about trying to stabilize them so he can sell them, because that's what he ultimately wants to do. Elliott does not want to keep Milan. They want to stabilize them and make them the value go up and then sell them. That's their goal. So I trust his process, and I 100% trust Maldini. Whatever happens because of what they plan, I'm going to believe in everything they do. Losing Gigio and Hakan has made us better this year. I think anything that happens, any chips that fall, are for the better of the club. They're painful pieces to lose, especially if it is Romagnoli and Kiar, because there's 2 to 3 defenders in the back goes. That's who we can left with Gabia.
Yeah, it's bad news.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to trust Maldini in this, and I'm not too worried about it right now.
I guess that's what we'll end it off, because I'll trust Richard because he's the Milan expert.
No one should ever trust me.
I trust you more than I trust Romano, because you don't steal people's content. Anyways, whoops.
Wow, shots fired on live YouTube.
Whoops. That was not supposed to happen.
Jerry firing at the hip.
I was supposed to say that he doesn't steal pineapple pizza, but yeah, it's okay. It's okay. We all steal content, I guess, in one way or another. I'm noticing that all these guys steal from each other. So
my headphones aren't working right now. I can't hear anything. Oh,
well. Whoops. Well, not all. Some. I shouldn't say all. All is not right, but yeah, I'm just digging a hole for myself here right now. But whatever.
Jerry gets the blue check. He doesn't care. He just keeps firing at the head.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you stop with this blue check? It's
honestly, how do you get one?
I wrote for a site. I wrote for a site that's verified. That's why I got it.
For the record, I love everybody.
Richard's doing like fucking damage control right now. Like, nah, I'm cool with everyone. It's all good,
I don't hate nobody. Like, I just
don't even care. You say it like it is.
I just call out Romano for reasons that other people, I don't know why. I speak up for others when, I don't know, maybe I should just keep my mouth shut because I'm not even in the goddamn industry anyway, so I can give a fuck what these people do. But I will say this on the record: Adam Digby has some of the worst takes when it comes to football and Juventus. Like I'm gonna be honest, I have no disrespect to the guy. I don't care about him. Like as a person, he's probably a nice guy. But as a football analyst who is supposed to be making thousands of dollars every year, he's got some terrible, terrible takes. I made a burner account. Reason why I made a burner account was to make videos. So I use it. I use it to post videos and I retweet them on my account so I don't get the boot. Credit to Sharma for teaching me that because I didn't even think about making a burner account for that reason. So then I went and I saw Digby's account and I saw a tweet where it said that something about why did they take out Keane, and I think it was when they were playing Spezia and he was one of their worst players and he's like they should have left him on. They took off Keane and they scored 2 goals immediately and won 3-2 versus Spezia. And I was like, this guy, every time I gotta go on his account, I gotta see a bad take, and it's like. Guys, on the Culture Connection, I call anybody out. It's just who I am. I don't like to tweet and have to be, I don't know, like some zingados that.
Wow.
Whoa, watch what you say. Watch what you say, Jerry.
Yeah.
Watch it. You're on ice, bro. We know what that has like. That word is now stirred. You know.
Oh yeah, good point.
We know what it means as Italians. You know, that's the worst part. So.
Yeah, good point. Well, I don't mean it like that way.
No, I know.
Oh, I know.
I don't mean it that way.
All it takes is one person, Jerry. That's all it takes.
Yeah.
It takes it out of context.
Yeah,
gets
exactly.
offended, and then it's just a snowball of. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. But at the end of the day, like, I never knew that word actually meant that, but until recently. But no, I mean, like, I don't mean in that way, in that context. I mean, like when we in our chat group, we say that word. We just say it as like a football fan, where basically, like, what do you call it? We say that you cheer for 5 teams. We call you a zingaro for cheering for 5 teams. Now I don't know sometimes what they mean by that, but like I guess it's just someone who just goes and cheers for more than one
So,
or whatever.
so it has like some connotation as a bandwagoner kind of.
Yeah, kind of type of way. My point is that I don't like to like cause and stir things on Twitter like I've seen in the recent week, where if I have an issue with a guy like Digby, like I don't like his takes, I'll just call him out and that's it. I don't hide and post pictures back and forth. I think it's just not necessary. And I'm gonna end it like this. There's no need to like attack people on Twitter and use their personal life against them for football takes. I'm not here to defend anybody. I'm just saying in general, I think it's just kind of wrong to go after somebody and say, hey, how do you say it? You use someone's girlfriend or you use someone's job.
Yeah, you go
not
too personal. Right. You go too personal.
Yeah, like it's just too personal, and for me, it's just not right. So I'm all Twitter banter, but it should just stay within the football world. There's no need to get personal, especially when we don't know who the hell these people are really in life. Like 1% of the football world on Twitter actually know each other, it feels. So like it is what it is, right? So guys, I'll end it there because I think I'm gonna bury myself in a hole if I keep going, and I feel like I'm just rambling now and losing my train of thought. If you guys have anything to say, you guys can piggyback. But yeah, I didn't mean it in any bad context what I was saying before, so I apologize if I offended anybody. It wasn't in terms of any racist comment or anything like that. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
A mask, pineapple pizza, Richard. You guys anything?
No, on that front, no. It's just Twitter at this point. You gotta just go in knowing that it's it's just like a massive chat room you can shout your trash hot takes into. You know what I mean? It is what it is. You don't really know half the people there. It's just digital. It's what it comes with the territory of digital interactions at this point. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's pretty much my take on that.
Pineapple pizza.
I got nothing to add on that. That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah, I don't know why I said that word. I wasn't even thinking, and I feel really bad.
That's what happens when you don't think, Jerry.
Well, I say this on Twitter all the time. I don't think when I talk. I just talk without
Maybe
thinking.
you should think before you talk.
It doesn't happen a lot because people who know me know how I am. I'm very reactionary. And it wasn't meant in a racist way, so I do apologize. I feel like an idiot now. Calcio connection coming to an end. Richard?
I got no comments. I don't pay attention to that kind of stuff online. I just do my own thing.
Yeah, exactly. But it is what it is. Where can everybody find you guys, Richard?
You can follow me at Serie Sit Down. You can follow both Frank Crivello and myself over there. Definitely give the podcast a follow. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on anywhere you stream audio. So yeah, definitely give us a follow, subscribe, and thank you for your gents for the lovely chat tonight.
Mass?
You can follow me if Jerry removes the comment. I have my my Twitter handle.
Oh shit! Again, I did this. God damn it, man!
What is this, amateur hour?
You need Dono, dude.
So basically, whenever I could get my finger lined up, my handles over here: Twitter and Instagram for all things calcio and culture in general. I'm also working on a podcast now. We're just kind of working out the kinks with two of my friends at the Daily Stakes. We're going to be focusing mostly on North American sports, but I will eventually try to incorporate Serie and probably get a Serie Discord going on with fans of the league. So just keep an eye out for that.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching.
Not even a plug for Joe. Just completely ignoring Joe there.
Oh, I thought Joe's not.
Wow.
This is the world we've come to. The Romanisti.
Unbelievable.
Hitting on Juve already.
Wow.
Oh shit.
Unfucking believable.
Oh fuck. Oh shit. Oh shit, son.
I don't know if I want to come on next week now.
That's your loss, not mine.
No, it's fine, Jerry. It's all good.
Go ahead.
If you guys want, I'm an idiot, so you can follow me on Twitter at Joe_Cappuccino_. I also have a podcast. We have to get together and do it. Jerry, we got to have you on again. Richard, got to have you on. And Mass, we should have you on as well. Like, we should have a giant
big matchup coming up, right? So.
I'm game.
A giant intergalactic meeting of the minds for Serie A. It's going to happen. That podcast is called The Red Card Report, and you can find us on Twitter at RCR_podcast as well. So that is that. And I will see you next week, Jerry.
Yes, next week. Guys, that is it for tonight. Thank you for joining us. And I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll talk to you guys next week. We'll see you next week, however Alex says it. This is Culture Connection signing off, whatever the heck is. This is Serie Sit Down signing off. This is Red Card Report Card signing off. This is Go Fuck Yourself Roma signing off.
Ciao, guys.